am.
There are a lot of Arguellos.
Yes.
What part of the country are you in right now?
I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Well, so I'll tell people why you're here, because in the Discord that you've often heard us talk about, bit.ly/OCR Discord. Is that, did I get it right? It used to be OCR chat and now it's OCR Discord. One of them doesn't work anymore.
Oh, yeah?
If OCR chat doesn't work, try OCR Discord. And he was cracking me up left and right. I was like, you know what? You earned yourself a spot in the Discord. I still don't know what happened with that guy. I mean, listen, we've been saying for months that we knew it was coming. We knew we had this perfect little world, and you know, the internet is the internet, man, and you're gonna get someone. And this guy,
he was pretty out there.
Oh, here he comes.
He was pretty angry.
Hey,
What's up, Josh?
What's up, dude?
I guess you're working from home today.
Yeah, man, it's fucking snowing up here.
Oh, beautiful.
It snowed harder last night than it did the night before.
Right. Well, I did do an unofficial beginning without you, but I wouldn't go into any real topics without you.
That's a real dick move.
I tried to stop him. You know,
It's fine.
But
Sometimes he's unhinged.
I am unhinged. So can we talk about that? Can we get to this, like, this fake OCR Discord that I started and you got really mad at me for it?
Sure.
Josh got mad that I started that fake Discord yesterday that was, like, you know, had ridiculous topics in it, and it's literally a dumpster fire. And Josh thought, like, I'm trying to, like, steal his thunder.
I think you do a little bit. I think you're trying to cash in on a little bit of the popularity.
Of Discord?
Take some of it for yourself.
Well, I mean, you're certainly welcome there. It's like I said, it'll probably be dead by tomorrow.
Okay. What if it's not?
I can't see myself going there consistently to make jokes about Gary. I mean, that's essentially what it is.
people seem to like it.
Well, don't say that.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked at it. I haven't even looked at it this morning.
It's cool. It's like you're wearing a fanny pack, ironically, but you really want to wear it because you think it's cool.
I mean, yeah, it's fun, but honestly, Josh, like, I did not. I mean, wouldn't I just start a real, like, ORM Discord if I wanted to, like, well, hey, now I can cash in. Now that Discord's a thing, I can cash in and get one for ORM. Like, wouldn't I do that rather than just, like, do a Waffle House, Battle Frog, I Hate Gary Discord?
I mean, probably, but didn't you try that already and it didn't work? On one of your other accounts, which you probably can't get access to again, you actually had an ORM Discord server originally.
Right. That's what I told you in my text yesterday, that I was like, oh, maybe I could try this. And then I just sort of let it die. And anyway, Josh, I'm telling you, it's not like they're going to leave there and then not come back to the main one.
I agree.
Do you actually have a Discord sweater? I thought that was photoshopped.
Oh, no joke.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God, he's wearing a legit Discord sweater. I mean, I guess we don't have to spend all morning discussing this, but honestly, it's like somebody started a New England Spartans for real or for life Facebook page and you would get mad about it. It's like, well, just, you know what I mean? It's like,
okay.
like if somebody started another Facebook group about the New England Spartans, would you be mad?
Yeah, that's a dick move. There's a community there already. Why would you? And actually, we've had people do that.
Right. We had that happen in Gormer. This guy started one for like Augusta or like some other part of Atlanta, and he literally, and I mean literally, copied our like purpose statement, which I had written, so I knew it. You know, it was like,
right.
We were a group of people that do X, Y, and Z, and he literally like just took out the word whatever and replaced it with something else. And I remember Delane, who was our leader at the time, being very upset. And now that I think about it, I'm not saying this just to be right, but I said, let him go. He's not going to do what we do. He's not going to build up, 5,000 members. He'll be dead in a year. And he was dead in less than a year. So.
Classic.
All right. So we've introduced Ricky. He's drinking out of an R2-D2 mug. Holy moly. Look at that.
I'm a Disney honk.
Are you a Disney honk?
Oh, yeah, for sure. This is not my only one. I have 6 coffee mugs that are Star Wars related, I think.
Do you do the dopey challenge or the Disney
No,
whatever?
I've always wanted to do it. It just never works out for me. I mean, yeah.
So you'd like to do one of those dopey challenges?
Yeah, I always seem to like log on and check on it. It's like one of those things in the back of my head, and then I go to check on it and be like, oh, maybe I should register for it. And then it's like, oh, it happened last weekend. Okay, well, I'll try again next year.
See you next year.
Yeah.
What would it cost to do the dopey challenge and or the goofy challenge?
It's very expensive.
They're really expensive.
Like $1,000, right?
Something like that. And you have to stay on
Dopey's
site.
got to be that high, yeah.
Which one is dopey and which one is goofy?
I'm not sure, to be honest. It's like,
Well, you're not that much of a Disney honk then, my friend.
well, I'm not a Disney running honk. I think that's a different category. Because they have different marathons, and they have the Princess, they have the Star Wars, and then they have the challenges. I'm not into that yet because I keep on messing up, but I'm a regular honk.
The dopey challenge is all 4 races: the 5K, the 10K, the half, and the full.
Oh God.
Which does sound awful. It's also $589. And then there's the goofy, which is a total of 39 miles. So I think that's just the half and the full, which is 300 some odd dollars. So it's an investment.
Plus, you got to stay on site, so the hotel, and then you're going to go in the park.
Yeah, because your race starts at like 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
you have to finish before everybody gets into the park.
Now, I'm going to have to say that you saying you're a Disney honk by showing me a Star Wars mug is kind of like when the Raiders moved to Los Angeles and I still called them Oakland. I'm not really ready to accept that. Like I think of Disney as Disney and Star Wars as Star Wars, and never the twain shall meet.
Okay, well, last year I went to Disney World in Orlando. I went there, I want to say 30 times.
And you've never done the races?
No. I actually tried to figure out how many times I went last year, but they don't have like a tally. I can't find a tally anywhere online. But I've been there I'm going this weekend. And last year was the most I went. I want to say it was more than 30 times, and that's not including the Disney downtown Disney.
Wait, where do you live? Where do you live?
I live in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, so you're like 30 minutes from it, right?
No, I'm like 3 hours from it, 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to make a decision. Do you want to be an OCR honk or do you want to be a Disney honk? Like that's fucking commitment.
One of the biggest things though was like last year in the summertime in June, I was working in Orlando, so I stayed there for about 2 months, and we just figured every night we would go to Disney, or every day. Like I would go there for like lunch, or I would take the kids in the afternoon, and yeah, you just go. Like I would go to a specific part in Epcot. And then I would have lunch in like one country every day. So I counted that as like, oh, I went to Disney, But every night we would take the kids to mess around at the downtown Disney where they have music and stuff. That I don't count that, but we went to the parks like 30 times just because we were right there.
Yikes.
Well, maybe one day, there's probably a Spartan Disney trying to happen. What do you bet?
Well, Kissimmee, that was as close as they can get, right?
No, I'm saying they might be working on it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I doubt it.
Probably a lot behind it.
Yeah, that's a lot of money to get onto that property that they don't have.
All right. Well, let's start, Josh. Let's start with errors and omissions.
All right. What did we get wrong?
Let me go to Kyle's emails. Kyle DZ. I'm so glad you gave him that nickname, by the way. I don't have to try to say it all the time.
Well, if I know anything about people, it's that I love when other people butcher their names and then laugh about it.
Let's see. Kyle. I know a lot of Kyles.
Speaking of Disney honks, the Black Widow trailer came out.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. We're going to have to put this episode on hold. I'm kidding. I'm going to watch this after.
I'm excited for Black Widow.
It looks like nothing. He just pointed out that Corinna had bone frog results come up on her Spartan results profile. And he said, why is that? And I said, because someone at Spartan is bad at their job.
Accurate.
Like somehow they, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Also, shout out to Kyle DZ because Facebook Messenger has this whole section where if people aren't your friends and they send you a message, all those messages get filtered into this like back
Other
section of yeah. So I actually opened that the other day and had like 5 of them, and he actually sent me a screenshot of the Spartan live feed from like West Virginia, where Kevin said it's a battle for the top spot on the beater, and they were on Twister. So he's been doing the error correction thing for months apparently. I hadn't even seen that until like 2 days ago.
Many people caught that. I want to read a review, Josh, that we got from one Jack Weber. He said, hot take, Davis and Chace is better than the 2 Ryans. And I love the snarkiness of the 2 Ryans, but you and Josh are really funny to listen to. Also, his laugh sounds like he is laughing and hiccuping at the same time and makes me laugh even harder. It's a good laugh, not a bad laugh. LOL.
Okay. I'll take that, I guess. Do I sound like I'm hiccuping when I laugh? It's cool, Jack. Don't give me a complex or anything.
All right. Should we start with god-awful medals?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a conspiracy?
These medals?
Like they spoke with each other and said, you know what? Let's both do this at the same time. It'll run some cover.
Oh, okay. So you mean both Spartan and Savage's medals here are
Yes.
god-awful.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm of the opinion that Savage's medals are actually nice. I like that design.
Nice is the word you would use?
Okay, Jesus Christ. Do I need to get it? All right. I think they're excellent, Matt. I love the design. They are fantastic. No, I like them. I'm on the Savage metal side. I am not on the Ultra metal side.
Ricky is raising his head, is also shaking his head.
Well, they're a little busy, but it's better than a circular Spartan metal or variation where they cut out a little bit of it every year. Like sometimes it's the logo that's cut out. This year it's the outline that's cut out. I mean, it's.
I honestly am not even sure what I'm looking at with the Spartan metal. Like I put up that really bad meme, if you want to call it that, where it's slightly Millennium Falcon-esque, and I think that's
the
like
Ultra metal,
right?
Yeah, that's too busy. That's even too busy for me.
There's a lot going on in that. Like I don't mind the shape and layout of it, but there's just too much shit happening on this metal for me. And again, this is just on paper. Like I don't know what it looks like.
Is there a scorpion on it?
There is a scorpion on it. There's also a centaur on it. I don't know where that guy comes into play.
Half man, half beast?
Half man, half beast.
Where is that? Can you show me on the teleprompter?
Right there. That looks like a centaur, right?
Okay, I see. I didn't even notice that. I love that you're looking at my version of it. It really does look like a spaceship.
And again, the 2 gripes that I have is there is just too much shit going on. Like, why are there little columns in the bottom left, but then the columns on the other side are in the middle, and then another 3 columns up top? There's like 9, 10 columns on this thing. I don't know what's in the background behind all these columns. It looks like a wall of some sort. There's not enough purple on it. Like it's just there's a million things happening. I don't know. Maybe it's an elaborate hoax and it's not going to be the real thing, but I'm sure.
What are these pillars in the right corner? They're just like floating pillars, but then there's other pillars right underneath it.
Yeah, there's a total of 10 pillars on this thing. This is like a how many can you find a game? There's like 3 random pillars.
I honestly
floating.
didn't even notice half of these things that you guys are talking about until you said it. It's like, is it 2 people kissing or is it 2 wine glasses? Like I literally did not see any of these until you started talking about them.
And then there's, if you look off to the left behind the Spartan Ultra text, there's like a guy that's half covered by an Ultra design. It's so weird. So weird. There's just a lot happening. It's a lot. It's an assault on my senses.
It really is. We got stuff going on in the background.
Yeah, sorry, my wife's coming home with a kid.
You're coming home with the kid?
No, she's coming home with the kid. She just dropped off my 8-year-old at school, and she's with my.
I was gonna say, time for them to go to school, man. Can't bring them home at this time.
No, well, the one is not going to daycare today, but yeah. There's also a guy behind the central metal that's like doing Something weird. Is he throwing a spear?
It looks like he's either throwing a spear or falling down or something.
He just caught the spear.
He's like breakdancing. It looks like because one of his legs is going back and.
Well, everybody knows those are the 10 pillars of Aguiar, right? Didn't you know that? That's what those are.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11.
The 11 pillars of Aguiar.
Okay.
What's great is that it's definitely like 95-5 against. There's definitely a couple like, I like those. And it's not just the old like, oh, people hate change thing. Like they really are ugly. I mean, comments such as could be used as a weapon, ? Holy shit, these are real? ?
I just like Bill Brumbox. Jesus.
I mean, there's some Jesus. They're both Terabad.
Yeah.
I mean, and this guy, Thunderhawk Lifts, great name. Actually like both designs, but Spartan's more so. Is that Spartan metal for real? If so, guess I'm not running one. Those are real ? I'm going back to bed. I mean, it's mostly okay. So let's go to Savage. I think Savage is not appealing, and then when you look closer,
it makes more sense.
No, it gets uglier. I think when you get closer, it's the two taglines. The best obstacle is perfect distance, which works great on a shirt. It works great on the what do you call this thing? The ribbon? What do you call this thing?
The lanyard.
Lanyard.
But whatever. It looks great on that. As a medal, it looks – I mean, look at that. Here, this is 2019's medal as a comparison. I just happened to grab it. I mean, that is fantastic. They've basically done different versions of this over the last couple of years, and they didn't need to go crazy with this angry metal weapon-looking fucking thing. I don't think.
Now that you point out the perfect distance and the best obstacles, you're right. I don't. It doesn't look like it really belongs in the medal itself. Like without those, I think it would be okay. But I mean, the Savage medal design is always going to be a little rough, just because the Savage guy is kind of rough in and of himself. So I like these better than the Ultra medal, but at the same time, it could be totally different when I see them.
Like when you get one around your neck?
Just when I see them in person. Like the Ultra Buckle from this year, when I saw the original display of it, I wasn't a giant fan, but then when I saw it up close, like it made sense. I also assume that this buckle that we get for this year is probably going to be gigantic. So just the way it looks, right? It can't be very tiny. It's going to have to be a pretty good size. That in and of itself will make it a little better. So the bigger, the gaudier, the better.
Do either of you have permanent displays? This is basically I keep these up during the year. The year ends, they go in a box with the bibs and basically the whole whatever 2019 was, and then I sort of start over. What do you do?
I put mine up in a box in the closet, and the shelf that it's on is currently bowing because there's too many goddamn medals in there, so I'm gonna have to throw some in storage. Molly's got a display outside that she puts hers on. I never really used to display mine because I'd forget to put some up there, and then I'd have them all over the place, and then I just get lazy and take them down.
I have mine in my car.
All of them.
All of them. I never take them out of the car. I used to have a display. I had a mannequin that I would drape them on, like the what's the name? The swimmer. You know that famous pose where he's got all the medals across his chest?
Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps. Yeah,
Yes.
I used to do that, but then it would topple over. And I don't race that often, but every time I do, I just toss it in the passenger seat, and then it ends up in the glove box. And like I'm the only one that sees them anyway. So
yeah, I also have some medals strewn across my car. I think my terrain race medal never made it out of the car.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them in there.
Yeah, I would say that at this point, it's 100% just archive material for me. It makes a nice backdrop for me to do podcasts with. So that's a nice thing, right? And then there's like two that are over there, which is a bookcase that I actually like treasure. One is my 50-mile patch from World's Toughest, and one is I got 100 when I did Race for the Ages. Like that buckle actually means something to me, and the rest of them necessarily don't.
Is there any metal that you do actually like treasure, Matt, that you care about, that you won't let go?
Other than the ones I just said?
Yeah.
Were you not listening?
I wasn't. No, give me like the one. Like you're like, oh, there's a couple over here that like, what's the one?
Well, so the one, I guess I just said, it's okay for those of you who are actually listening. I've got my 50-mile patch from WTM, and I've got a 100-mile. I got a 100-mile Race for the Ages buckle that I like earned, and those are the two that like matter to me that I've got over there next to my Pete Rose autographed baseball.
Ew, Pete Rose.
Come on, man, Charlie Hustle.
Charlie Gambler.
They all gamble. Come on, what do you mean?
Well, he's dumb enough to get caught.
You don't really have the take that he's a bad person, though, do you?
Yeah, I do. You gambled on the sport that you played. You're a bad person.
Oh my God, Josh! Some of your takes, man.
That doesn't even have to be a take, Matt.
Athletes. Are you kidding me? Like, what percentage of them do you think are not filled with steroids?
I don't care. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about one individual in a vacuum.
What's in Tom Brady's hair right now?
I don't believe Tom Brady's on steroids.
What's in his hair, though?
I don't care what's in his hair.
I think it's going to find out to be illegal.
So you think years and years of him like doping is just like hanging out there? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I was kidding, but I have said this before. I have brought this up before that I'm from Boston. I love the Patriots. I love Tom Brady. I would pick Tom Brady like first in fantasy every year if I could. However, this whole idea of, wow, he keeps getting better with age, and we know that that's not normal. If later on it did come out, I would not be shocked, because that's what happens when guys get caught. Oh, well, he did better at 41 than he did at 38. That's not possible. And then people go, well, it's different with baseball players and quarterbacks and blah, blah, blah. But I'm just saying, I'm certainly not going to be surprised if that was the case. And I hope that isn't the case, because it'll tarnish his 6 or 7 or 8 Super Bowls, however he ends up with.
What a disgusting take that is. You just insinuated that Tommy Brady's taking steroids.
Or it's doing something, right? Probably a drug that nobody can even get yet.
Exercising and taking care of himself. That's what he's doing.
Does he have that weird manager or trainer that's like got something behind him or something?
Yeah, he does that weird like reflexology movement character that he's got. I forget his name at the moment. He was the topic of conversation all over sports radio for a while up here.
Right, because Belichick said, get that guy out of here, right?
Yeah, because Tommy wanted a personal trainer to go with him. And he was like flying on team planes and all this stuff and probably overstepped his bounds. So
right. All right, Josh, can we step into Tech Corner?
Yeah, I look forward to having to explain every week what technology you discover and then need more information about.
All right. So I'm seeing these commercials for Verizon explaining that 5G, it's been a year since they put in the 5G tubes, and isn't it amazing? And I guess at one point in my lifetime, they had to start burying a lot of fucking cable, right? Because there was this new thing, right? There was this whole new tech. The phone lines are coming down, right? Those old school phone wires that birds sit on, right? And that come down in a storm. It's like, oh shit, we gotta build these fiber optic cables underground. So every time the technology upgrades, we're doing it again. We're going from 4G to 5G. Can you explain to me what's happening? And are they using the same? Are they using the same ones, or are there different cables?
Yeah.
Different pipes.
So let's unpack this in a couple different ways. So
you're welcome, America.
First off, let's get down to what we're actually talking about, right? So 4G stands essentially for – so the G stands for generation, right? So 4G was supposed to be the 4th generation of wireless networks in the United States. Now they're on different Gs in other areas of the world. We're technically not even on 4G right now. We're still in like a 3rd G thing, but the more you add numbers and the more you add letters, the more you add hype. So 4G is the current thing, right, which is capable of, on a good day, like 100 megabits per second. You'll never see that on your cell phone. So they go to 5G, it's all about more speed, is really what it comes down to. So The difference is the pipes that are in the ground are fine today, and they'll be fine for 5G. So the fiber optic glass that runs from cell tower to backhaul, et cetera, is totally fine. It can support 5G and probably 6G and whatever else comes next. What's different is the radio antennas that are transmitting from the tower to your phones. So the way these signals work is you put up a cell phone tower, you get speed, and you get signal distance. Right now you have a good balance of long distance signal, good speed, not great speed, but good speed, not like as fast as your home internet, but good speed. So the difference is the more speed you want, the more antennas you're going to have. So you can get faster speeds, but shorter distance, right? Remember 7 or 8 episodes when we talked about your Wi-Fi, there's a 5G and a 2.4G. The problem with 5G is they're going to have to put more and more antennas everywhere. So they're going to have to probably put antennas on those poles, those telephone poles, in order to get good coverage everywhere. So you'll be able to walk downtown Atlanta and stand under a pole that has a 5G antenna on it and get good speeds. But the minute you go half a mile away from that, your speeds are going to go right back down to what they were because there's not enough coverage. So in my expert opinion, of which we know is clearly very expert, 5G is, one, it's marketing hype for cell phones. Most companies are going to use it to deliver video because they don't want to build cable lines, dig holes, put trenches out there. And then the 5G piece will be, for cell phones in big metropolitan areas, but nowhere else. You're not going to get 5G in your driveway if you're living out in the woods of Virginia.
So whatever was laid under the ground, you're saying in the late 90s or early 2000s, that's not going to change? It's just they're adding more towers?
No, fiber optic's been in the ground since like 1978 was like the first time they were putting fiber optic into the ground.
Well, the first time versus actually like widespread. I mean,
yeah.
So that's not changing. They're just adding more towers.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, the fiber backhaul that's underground right now can support hospitals and universities and more every single day. So most of that's not a big issue. They might have to put a little bit more to support things like that as obviously the world gets busier and busier, but the cell phone network that's out there will be fine.
And explain to me again why my Sprint signal is so much more garbage than my Verizon signal was.
Because that's the long and the short of it is Sprint's garbage. They don't have a very good network. They don't pay for a ton of bandwidth on their network, and the spectrum they use sits below all those other guys who pay premium dollars for better connectivity.
Well, the other guys being what?
Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile to an extent.
Well, Sprint's marketing got me because they fucking I'm this close to fucking going back, and it would cost me a lot like to buy out my contract, and I'm still this close to doing it because I'm so fucking mad.
Well, T-Mobile's buying up Sprint now anyway, so you might just get the benefit of being under their umbrella if that ever goes through. So, but that could be 2 years away.
What about globally? Like once upon a time, you definitely had to get different SIM cards in every country, and I feel like that's going away. Do Verizon and like Vodafone, and are there some massive fucking things happening?
Yeah, and even T-Mobile is owned by like a Dutch company, Telcom or whatever the hell their name is. Yeah, and most phones now have these things called eSIMs, at least any new like iPhone or Android phone. So you won't actually even need a physical SIM card to put in your phone anymore pretty soon. The next generation of phones will all be eSIM, which means you can just download an app, activate a cellular data plan, and boom, you can use it anywhere in the world. That's what I did at OCRWC this year.
I heard in a few years, I'll just be able to look at you and then the phone will ring.
Where'd you read that, on the dark web, Matt?
All right. So this brings me to my next question, which I think we talked about once. But we are coming up on the year anniversary, if we haven't already hit it, of Davis and Chace. A year and a half ago, they were laying Google Fiber in my office and that old, when I was by the Beltline there. And Google Fiber's coming, man. And it is in as exactly 0 neighborhoods in Atlanta a year and a half later. Yeah. WTF Josh Chace, Tech Corner.
I mean, I'm fine with it.
No, but I'm saying like what's happening? Like what's happening with it?
They're running into more struggles than they originally thought they would run into because they're Google and they just think they can walk in and be all powerful with this stuff, and that's not how it works. You got to have agreements and franchise agreements, and you got to have agreements to have your stuff on polls, and it's just not working as well as they thought. They've gone through 3 CEOs in the 5 years or 6 years they've been in business, and sorry, Charlie.
Do you think this will go the way of the of like the Amazon phone?
No, I mean they have some customers in some parts of the U.S., so they'll keep those small pockets that they have, but they're never going to bust into. I don't want to say never, because you don't never want to say never. They'll never bust into like, mass. They're not going to be a Comcast or a Spectrum or whoever broadband, which I'm fine with.
Ricky, have you seen the ET holiday reunion produced by Josh's bosses?
The commercial?
Yes.
No, I've heard about it, but no, I have not seen it.
Well, it is only, what's the long version, Josh? 4 minutes?
Yeah, 4 minutes and like 20 seconds or something.
It's definitely worth it. I'm someone that can be a hater on reboots and sequels when it's done just for the money grab or just the general, whatever, Karate Kid and 100 other reboots. This is a home run on every level, Josh.
For those that don't know, xfinity.com/ET, if you want to watch the video. It is. They announced this a couple weeks ago, and we saw a screening of it. And E.T., I mean, it was a good movie. Like, at the time, it was a really good movie, right? It was, like, groundbreaking. We'd never done anything like it. And then as, like, everything else happened in the world, you look back at E.T. and you're like, E.T., was it really that good? But the moment the music hit, I was like, oh, Jesus, I am right back, like, sitting on my living room floor watching E.T. And when Elliot sees him, he's like, you came back. Amazing. It was amazing. And in, like, 4 days, that video is something like 11 million hits, which is infinitely better. Because every year we do a holiday.
Did you just say hits, Josh?
Yeah, 11 million hits.
Okay. Thought we stopped using that term, but okay.
What do you want me to call it, Boomer?
Okay, Boomer.
Views? Hits was like an old website term. Is there a counter at the bottom, Josh?
What about clicks?
Look at Josh's face right now.
The funny part is Matt thinks he's up to speed. They still talk about hits and impressions and all that crap.
Impressions, people say. Nobody says hits anymore.
Okay. So every year we do like a holiday stunt. Like last year it was Home for the Holidays, where the kids came to stay with their grandparents. And every year we do like a holiday themed thing. And that's our theme of commercials for the holiday season. This one is obviously completely killed it. Steven Spielberg directed it. It's a huge hit.
Well,
it's a huge hit, Matt. It's a hit.
Wink, wink. Well, here's the thing. So I saw it in the theaters. Okay. I was 10. Is it 82? Is ET 82?
Yeah.
So perfect age to see that movie. And then watching it with my kids a couple years ago, the whole thing holds up, right? Everything, even the futuristic tech stuff, like it all holds up, right? And so then watching this, they just got everything right, and it's worth 4 minutes of your time. I could have watched 8 minutes of it. I teared up a little bit. I mean, it's amazing. Bravo to Xfinity on that one.
You're an ET honk.
I'm an ET honk. I'm not a Disney honk though. Speaking of which, do you want to go into Can You Not? You're ready for today's Can You Not?
Are you ready for today's Can You Not?
I really want to get a coffee, so why don't you oh, by the way, you see this little upgrade thing happening right here?
Oh, Jesus Christ, Matt.
Do you want to know what happened?
Everybody listening to this would love to know what happened with this.
Well, because listen, I'm using this company called Zoom. I don't know them from Adam other than I use this app and it works, right?
Yeah, they're only like the worldwide leader in teleconferencing.
Listen to this motherfucker, Ricky. Yeah. But if you look at their what's outgoing, is that UX? What's the customer facing thing? Is that UI?
UX or UI? UX is user experience. Yeah,
right.
UI is interface.
If you look at the user experience, when you go to this billing part, it's not like you don't think you're looking at something amazing. Okay,
it's not intuitive.
It's not intuitive. It's not very 2019. And so it shows that I've paid, and yet every time this warning comes up and we go through this, now I've been sparing you, right, the audience, like on the Ryan and Ryan's, we always go way over, and I do a nice clean edit. For those of you that think I never edit, you never know it, but it's, you know, at least twice going through this whole thing that I'm going, oh fuck, I gotta stop, I gotta start, blah blah blah. So I called yesterday and I give my email address, and I'm like, the email address I use for everything, right? Because I don't give my regular email out for much, right? Anything I'm buying, I basically use Facebook login or the same email I use for Facebook login. And she's like, we don't show anything for this. Is there any other email address you might have given us? Now, mind you, I don't even log into this thing. It just fires up my computer because I logged in once 5 years ago, right? Like even changing it computer to computer, I feel like I haven't needed to, like Google remembers all your passwords. Anyway, somehow when it came time to pay, I logged in with my regular email that I've never fucking used. And they're like, oh, this is just sitting here. You've never used it. So that was the fucking problem.
And so you clearly have still not solved the problem, because in 5 minutes and 7 seconds, we'll all be disconnected.
Because I really needed to explain that first. That's why.
Well, so, all right, let me ask you a question, though, Matt.
Sure.
For some reason, you have this mysterious email that you never give out, right? It's so pristine to you. It's so important that this email remains private, right? But then you log in using your Facebook account and your Google account and all that stuff. So why are you so secretive about this one email address, but you don't care about all these others?
Because I know how fucking spam works. And that other email address, Matt@MattBDavis runs, that I use everything to log into, if you open that account, what is it but 50 new spam emails a day? Because that's what's happened to that email. And my regular business email doesn't, because I don't sign up for things with it. I don't do races with it. I don't do.
But why wouldn't you use it in this case where it's used for your business?
Because I don't believe anybody's not going to sell my email address to somebody else.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
How many email addresses do you have?
One.
Oh God.
What's that?
How do you manage that? I mean, I get spam in every email account that I have.
Well, if you spend like a solid week like going through and like unsubscribing to all the things that you don't want, you'd be amazed at how clean your email can get. Somebody made a joke in Discord the other day, like Cyber Monday is a great way to clean out your email spam filter. It really is. Like you get emails from companies that you never knew you had. Like, but I get my emails essentially are like, I get a kayak email almost every morning telling me when my flight prices are going up or down. I get emails from the races that I want to follow, and the rest of the stuff is, you know, the stuff that I actually follow. If it's crap, then I'll just unsubscribe for it. And I make sure not to click that Spartan update, Spartan WOD, Spartan food of the day email every time I register.
Those were worse. I'm still unsubscribing from terrain race emails. I've unsubscribed like 3-4 times from that thing.
Yeah, and Josh, you of all people, victim of fucking City Challenge, knows how valuable an email address is.
Right, but I think I've remedied that situation, and also I must probably be on some blacklist from Terrain because I don't get any of their emails anymore either. So,
all right, I'm now securely logging in and paying with my PayPal. Let's see if this thing fucking works.
Well, you got 2 minutes and 30 seconds to do it.
Oh, I'm gonna make it happen.
It's never gonna work.
See, now here's another issue. I'm logging into PayPal, and it's asking me to connect. Sometimes it just says, great, debit from your account. Sometimes it says, connect to your bank. And in this case, it's connecting to my bank, which is like, well, I didn't need PayPal for it then. I could have just given my fucking, what do you call it?
You could have, but companies like to use PayPal because that caches. Oh, man, the meeting has been upgraded by the host and now includes unlimited minutes. He's done it, ladies and gentlemen. He has cracked Da Vinci's code.
It's only been 1 year, Josh, since we started this program, and I'm finally able to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, to bring you unlimited quality conversations, I'm now paying $14.99 a month that your Patreon is helping to pay for. Thank you so much. I also found out in the notes, I was just looking, I can have up to 100 people in this thing.
Oh, man. We're going to have like, can you like control people and like mute them and stuff like that?
We could have, dare I say, an OCR orgy in here.
A Discord.
A Discord G.
Okay. Why don't you plug the real Discord, Josh?
Okay. Well, if you would like to possibly join this show at some point, you never know. Matt will just invite somebody from the Discord to join the show. The website is I just spit on my laptop. Sorry,
Ricky was waving when you said that. I think I'm gonna use the video version of this too. By the way,
yeah, throw it all up there. You should probably put a nice little graphic on the front of it and then throw it up on YouTube. Otherwise, you're gonna constantly get 12 hits on your YouTube video.
Am I the first Discord member that's come on?
No.
I mean, I'm not of importance. I'm not a race director or anything like that. I'm just like a average
a community member.
Yeah, community member. There you go.
And listen, don't sell yourself short. If you're here, you're of importance.
Listen, I don't take inviting people here lightly. Dr. L's been here, but she's a professional in the OCR, whatever. Right. And she's not even in the Discord, I don't think, because she has real people to deal with, unlike us. Listen, once upon a time, Josh was just a regular person, right, Josh?
That's true. I was just a regular Joe, and then it turned into a thing.
Just a big 7-foot fucking guy doing obstacle races, right?
Did I have shoulder surgery? Why am I?
You were. My kids were just watching Christmas Story, and the kid can't get his arms down because his jacket's too big.
Yes. Yep. That movie's not that good. That's my hot take. Christmas Story, it's not that good.
Well, again, not to pull the parent card, but again, watching it with your kids is like a fun thing. Like they're laughing at the jokes, and it's kind of funny, right? Like I don't think I would just watch it on its own, but watch it with my kids. Although me and my wife were laughing when the lamp showed up. Like we were both laughing at that. Fragile must be Italian. Come on, that's funny.
Have you been to the house in Ohio so you can see the lamp in the window?
I've not been to the house in Ohio.
I have been.
Okay, and you don't even like the movie.
Well, my old company used to have an office right in Parma or wherever the hell that is in Ohio, and just so happened to be. But we were driving out, and they're like, "Hey, the house is right there. You want to see it?" Okay. It was less than exciting.
I've been to Thomas Edison's house. Thomas Jefferson? Thomas Edison? I think I've been to Thomas Edison's house.
Thomas Jefferson's the one who lived in the South, isn't it?
No. This was I was on the side of I was driving, and it said Thomas Edison house, this exit, and I took it. I was like, oh, I got to go see this. Cool story, bro.
Really?
Okay.
All right. This is what he does, Ricky. He's just like, all right, you know what? I'm done with this. Coffee's more important than my professional podcast.
No prompt. He just walks off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did you listen to the two Ryans, the latest episode? He just left, and he's like, I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be back. Just talk amongst yourselves. And Ryan's just sitting there commentating. But this is what he does, man. He just gets up and leaves, and we talk about whatever. And then he has to listen to it when he gets back.
All right then.
Anyway, what's on your list of races? What are you doing next?
I have the Central Florida Beast coming up this weekend.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, and then after that, I don't know for the new year. Oh, he's back.
He's back.
Did I miss anything?
Now we were just talking about races. Because this is sort of an obstacle racing podcast, so I figured I'd throw a little bit in there.
So Amelia Boone, who will not be listening to this episode, but listened to my interview with her. She
said, Tahoe one or the World's Toughest Mudder one?
The World's Toughest Mudder one, because she knew the Tahoe one was random, but this one, she said, I didn't think we could get any more random than our Tahoe podcast, but this went off the rails real quickly. And I messaged her and said, would you believe that's actually why people listen to me? Because that's sort of what I do. It's not, hey, aren't these races hard? What shoes do you wear? So anyway, I just thought that was funny that she was like, because she doesn't listen to the show, but she was like, wow, that was random. I'm like, that's kind of what I do.
I was listening to it last night, and I got up to the part where Chris Mendoza joined them, and then I haven't listened to the rest. It was a little all over the place, but it was generally still obstacle race themed, mostly.
Yeah. And then some other people come by. I forget who, but yeah, those WTM episodes are the brunch and whatchamacallits. Ricky Arguello, you have any desire to do World's Toughest Mudder?
Yeah, I've always wanted to do it. but it's hard to get out to. It was Vegas before. Now it's Atlanta. Now it's Dallas.
Yep.
I wanted to go to Vegas because it's like in the middle of the desert or whatnot. Atlanta didn't really interest me because Atlanta doesn't seem so tough. I guess maybe it was, but whatever. But Dallas,
It was cold.
yeah, I don't cold. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't do well in the cold, so I'd rather do it in Abu Dhabi, with the heat,
Right.
than in the cold. But yeah, I'd like to do one, but just I've never actually done a tough mudder.
Will you go to Abu Dhabi?
No. No.
Did
That's
you
that's a long ways for, I mean, if I qualify for anything, which I probably won't, I would not because it's like, how much to get out there? Like $1,000? My wife would kill me.
Let's get her on.
We got her, Jess. We saw her walking. We saw her walking behind you earlier.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, a friend messaged me. I won't reveal this person's name because he didn't say I could do it, but they wrote and said DNF at Killington, Vermont. Elite application approved. And they sent me their EQC. And then I said, "Are you sure you didn't like another race?" He says, "Well, I got 4th in AG in 2018."
Yeah, so you got in.
I said, "What about that?" And he said, "Well, the application says 12 months." Anyway, so congrats to him. And I don't know if you're not getting in then, but that brings us back to this gentleman that the reason that Ricky's here right now is that Ricky did an amazing summation.
Yeah, that was on. Like, it was Saturday. I was bored, and I happened to be on during this whole thing, and it was ridiculous what this guy was going on about. We're not going to mention names, right?
No, we can mention names. No, we can definitely mention.
Yeah, we never shy away from that.
No. I'll mention his name. His name is Ryan McGinnis. You can look him up. You can look him up on Instagram.
Josh.
Well, now you're gonna have to catch these hands the next race because because he's gunning for some of us.
Well, Josh. So we just kind of touched on it before you hopped on, Josh. But you know how we've been saying for months that listen, we've got this perfect little world. We love each other. We get in the occasional argument with. Who's the guy that kept getting mad about Hunter? Danny M kept getting mad, like, fine, you guys worship Hunter, blah, 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 blah. This guy somehow believes that Spartan is gatekeeping so badly. Otherwise, he would have brought in 10 to 15 trail runners because all the great obstacle racers are leaving.
Oh God, there's so much.
He named 10 people, 2 of which have like not podiumed in 5 years. I mean, I guess you could say Hobie and Cody. I guess, other than the fact that they've been doing it for 7 years and are 40 years old, maybe you could say that that's somewhat of a legitimate argument for those 2. But the rest of the people were
no. Hobie retired. He straight up retired. I mean, that doesn't count. That's not. I'm tired of it, or I'm retiring.
I think, Josh, if you're trying to scroll to find the conversations, I don't think you should because it's a dangerous hole to go down.
No, I mean, I've already got it.
Can you just bring up Ricky? Can you just bring up Ricky's summation? Hey, first of all, I gotta break this down. Okay. The gamma concept. I literally, call me a boomer. Was only familiar with the alpha and the beta. Right. Alpha is a big jerk. And beta is a more sensitive man. That's all I knew of. However, it looks like there's like 7 of them, and people actually speak this way.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Oh,
no, they don't. No, they don't.
You guys, have you not seen these conversations?
In Discord?
No. That's the problem, is that it got me to the internet, and there's this whole red pill, blue pill, alpha, beta, gamma, males, women, men. There's this whole fucking thing, dude. It's mental.
Yeah, there's also whole websites dedicated to people that like to watch other people pop blisters. Like that doesn't mean it's a thing in real life. Like,
no, I mean,
there's always going to be pockets.
Okay, Josh. I put it in the same category as Pizzagate. You should be scared of those people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would disagree because here's my example, Matt. When was the last time you heard anybody mention these terms in real life in a conversation you were a part of?
Dude,
never, right? Never.
Right, but again, I didn't know Pizzagate existed, and then once I knew it, I was terrified for the world.
This is probably more terrifying though, because it applies to everybody apparently, and I mean, there's 5 categories.
What would I be on this hot
Well,
list?
do you want to break them down? Let's break them down. We're gonna go there. We're gonna
I
go
don't
there.
have them in front of me, but let's.
All right,
if you have them, Ricky, hit me.
I got it pulled up. I got all right. So we start off. This is how you know it's bad, and it's the 5 male archetypes, and subheading: social status is strongly correlated with sexual success in the totally unfair winner-take-all sexual market. So
okay, so this was obviously made by a woman, right? Can we just put this out there?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Wait, no.
And I'm sorry. No, listen. I'm sorry if that's like unwoke, but you know what? This is obviously made by somebody.
It was written by a man who doesn't get laid that much. That's who wrote it.
No, I disagree. I bet it's
There's no bias in this graphic whatsoever. There's
none at all.
No. So it starts off with the top, the alpha. Everybody knows the alpha. It's the self-assured leader of men whose swagger and aloofishness makes him very successful with women. So
what's the diagram? What's the drawing of?
It's a Josh Chase looking character with the arms out.
Yep.
It looks like a smile, or it might be a doctor's mask. No, that's a smile.
Okay, yeah. What's next? And
then surprisingly, the next one is a sigma, not a beta. The sigma is the lone wolf antithesis of the alpha, defies placement in the social hierarchy, and is yet successful with women. So not a jerk, I guess.
I think about, like, remember this is going to be, I don't know why I'm making this reference, but did you guys see Peggy Sue Got Married?
Jesus Christ, I'm done with this podcast.
Josh just took his earbuds out. So Peggy goes back to high school and she hooks up with the loner boy poet that rides a motorcycle. So, like, he's not really traditional. Like he's sort of the opposite of the jock, but he still gets laid a lot because women like that kind of character.
He's like Heath Ledger's character in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Okay, I haven't seen that movie, but okay.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Okay, so then next is the beta, which seems like it would be the worst. But okay, beta, the worker bees of society. Women will tolerate them if they have ample resources. Otherwise, they are discarded.
You don't think that's who fucking wrote this? You don't think that's who wrote this? A guy who describes himself as that. Women will tolerate them, but will discard them. That is a guy who's not been laid a lot.
Yeah, this is from a guy who's very jaded.
Right. That's who wrote this chart. And what is he dressed up as, by the way? What's his logo?
A doctor. Apparently a doctor. So, like, a doctor would be a beta because they're a worker bee?
I don't think so. Like, doctors usually have a few bucks. Anyway, go next.
Okay, gamma. Gammas are bitter of clueless about women. Okay, gammas are bitter of clueless about women. That's what it says. Often they cannot grasp red pill concepts. Oh, I didn't even read this part.
See?
Check out of the mating game. So it's God.
Aren't you now frightened? Aren't you now frightened?
God, this is worse and worse.
All right, what's the last one?
And then Omega. Okay, so this guy is another. He's just in an orange. For some reason, the doctor was slightly better off than the gamma. Okay, but the last one is the Omega, the hopeless. Omegas are correlated with violent outbursts like shooting sprees because of their total rejection by women. And it's a guy on a laptop, presumably playing video games. So if you're on a laptop, if you're
no, I renew my assumption that this was written by a woman.
Yeah,
guys, I'm telling you, it's written by the guy in the middle, and that's even why he drew a doctor, because he really isn't. He's more like a tech guy, right?
Well, he said he was an alpha because at one point he said alphas clashes with betas, gammas clashes with omegas. He actually really seemed like he was knowledgeable about it, and which was kind of scary.
Right. Because
let's all bring this back to the guy that opened our eyes to this calamity.
Yeah, so the beta or the alpha came into the Discord, and he was upset about the elite qualification criteria, which I don't know offhand, but I guess he did one race this year, Sacramento, right? He did Sacramento.
And if not for that pesky tire flip, he would have been on the podium.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
was
not
saying-
according to his Instagram. His Instagram, he's running Spartan races all the time.
Yeah,
Or he
that
just
was
says-
weird. I actually checked into it, and he's pretty active, or was.
I tried to resist that. I tried to let him be someone I could just easily hate by just being a name in Discord. I tried not to go down the let me look at your Facebook profile thing.
Well, he gave the handle, and I recognized the handle because I thought that I might have followed him at one point, just because random. But yeah, he used to be pretty into it, and he raced Sacramento, got 18th or 16th, 18th in age group, which another Discord member, Jason Wong.
Jason Wong comes in
First place.
Asian
in age
Alpha.
group. He's a gamma. According to this this type, he's a gamma.
Who's the Gamma again? Is that the school shooter or the doctor?
No, gamma is. He is a bitter about women. And
Bitter
so
about
the
women,
first
okay,
place,
yeah.
for some reason, the first place age group male in that category is bitter and clueless about women, and he can't grasp the red pill concept. So that's what the insult was the entire weekend. Once that was brought up, but Jason had beaten him by 8 minutes, all due to a tire flip because he spent 8 minutes at a tire flip, which makes him very, very alpha because it's a 400-pound tire.
I mean,
So-
I can flip a tire.
Yeah.
And I'm not good at obstacle course racing, so
I can also flip a tire.
Yes, I'll chime in that I also can flip a tire because
I cannot do a rig, but I can flip a tire.
hey guys, at what point do you create a website about yourself
Oh no.
and do you put on it your nickname, not your real name? So his nickname is OCR Mick G, which Mick G's the worst director in all of movies. So this might make him the worst person in all of obstacle sports. Who lists his bio as, when Ryan, speaking in third person, is not out on an obstacle course or trail, you'll find him traveling with his beautiful wife and 2 Australian shepherds. I love how much Matt enjoys people that tell you how great their day is.
The only thing worse than that is if he had said hot wife.
He also has a website called OCR Clothing that is not up. So maybe he calls himself an entrepreneur, but anyway.
He's probably an
But
entrepreneur.
see, I wasn't going to
trail
just
running community.
let's let the record show. I was not going to point all this out. I was just going to let him be a faceless guy in Discord.
I wasn't.
Well, he asked for he gave out his Instagram.
Okay, so here's the thing. So here's where I'll give him a couple. We took a couple steps in the right direction because he said, "Guys, I specifically changed my name to my real name on Discord before starting this argument." So that's a plus in his category, right? And then he was actually making jokes back with us, right? Which is like, to me, is a sign of like a good person. It's like, important phone call for Ricky Arguello. Like the first rule of antagonizing and or trolling, even though I hate that word, is if they get the joke and they joke back, the gig is up, right? You can't keep trolling someone that knows the joke. And so this guy was like making jokes, but then he quickly went back to his craziness of, fine, you guys, I'm going to take my ball and go home. If not for you, me and all my elite friends would be in obstacle racing because trail racers are amazing and would be dominating the sport if not for the $30. And then we just gave all this empirical evidence of people come to our sport, failing miserably and never coming back.
But the part that kills me is this guy is also the same guy who wrote that he wants good age group racers forced up into the elite category. And
that doesn't make good.
The person that says that is the person who's not good enough to podium in age group, and he's upset that the same people are podium ahead of him. And then he went on. That's when he called out Jason. He's like, Jason, what do you say? You beat me by a terrible tire flip. I'm certain we were competing before my fail fest at that obstacle.
Oh, yeah.
You racing age group diluted the competitiveness of my lone Spartan race. What? Like you're a second tier cut rate age group racer, and you're just mad that they're not forcing people up into elites. But then he turns around and his argument is that Spartan is losing pro athletes left and right because they're now gating the elite waves. Now, anybody that qualifies for elite this year, if they're any athlete worth their salt, they've already qualified. So $33 to them is like nothing. It's not going to stop them from racing elite. So his argument is, well, you're not going to get all these top tier trail racers. And he threw some name out there. I forget who it is. It's probably somebody that he works with, and I'm not even going to give him the prop. But he's like, they would definitely want the elite fee waived, you know,
They
blah,
just
blah,
want to
blah.
go straight into it.
Right.
That's a big thing. They
Well,
don't want to qualify. They want to go straight into the money heat, which they'll definitely win because, you know, trail racers are going to win a Spartan race right off the bat. And he said he has like 10 to 15 people that by them qualifying automatically will bring in eyes and money to the sport, which didn't make a whole lot of sense, but it made sense to him.
Well, let's just say that. By the way, I know we joke a lot about Gary, but is Gary actually the gatekeeper here? Is Gary the one going through the thing?
I think so.
Well, he's one of them. He's one of them because the email that I was sent was not sent by Gary, by the way.
No, it was sent by the customer service team. I got one from some guy. Like I've seen him on chat before.
Jawar Halal, is it people in India?
No, it was Nguyen.
So first of all, I think they actually would, don't you think? Like if somebody sent a legit resume, right? I've won this, and this. And
yeah,
Spartan, those people have probably been instructed, like, yeah, let's let them in because we do want to grow the sport. However, I believe his downfall was he listed a turkey trot. Wasn't that part of it?
Well, no, he was saying that we should be like more like turkey trots because turkey trots, like local races run by cities and, you know, municipalities will give out free tickets to elite runners to bolster their times, which will attract other elite runners to their turkey trots. Because I know it's really common for like a marathoner to like travel to California to run a turkey trot instead of doing the one that's right fucking next to them. People that will never run another race the entire year. They just want to do something on Thanksgiving morning just to get out of the house. But no, it's, you know, they'll invite certain people and they'll waive the fees, more importantly, because they want those elites in their turkey trot. Because who won the turkey trot in where you are in Atlanta, right? Who won the local turkey trot there? It had to have been an elite runner.
Yeah. By the way, like you're saying, like that makes it even funnier because it's not just in Atlanta, right? There's like 50. You could do 55Ks in my neighborhood. I mean, in Atlanta, you could do 1 or 2 halves even. So yeah, that was the downfall. You know, I'm one who has, you know, upfront said, I love it when Joe would bring in some quote unquote Olympian or former Olympian to take on, you know, Killington, and that person wouldn't make it past mile 6, right? It's not just that it's kind of hard. It's like they can't fucking do it, right? Yeah. And those people, again, do not then go, okay, let me go back and train for this. They go, that's fucking miserable. Never doing that again, right?
That's not my sport. That's not my sport.
Right. And if I'm going to dedicate my whole life to something, right, it's going to be this thing that I'm good at. Maybe when I get older, maybe I'll try it. But even still, then they'd rather chase whatever they can on, you know, whatever they can. I don't know. Marathons. Right. I don't know.
So Ryan and his friends would come in straight to the money races. And I don't know why he kept on referring it to that. Like he wants to go in the money heat because he's gonna challenge for the money, even though he got 18th in a small race in Sacramento
that no one was at.
Yeah. So he's going to go straight up from 18th age group to missing a tire flip to going challenging, you know, it's California, so probably VJ and Mark Batris, right?
Right.
Because they're always out there. So he's going to go straight up there and just, you know, I'm in the money heat, so let's get to it. But him and his friends would do it. But so like it just made no sense. He just doesn't want to pay the $30 fee. Which, yeah, you know, if you want to argue that like the $30 fee isn't necessary, it's just another, you know, unnecessary fee attached to the race. Sure, you can argue that, but like he's saying that it's keeping out the elites from the sport. It's like, you know, if you can't afford the $30, like, come on. I mean, and then he doesn't want to qualify either way. Like, so he got 18th elite or 18th in age group, and it's like, okay, well, the argument was, okay, run another race and qualify. You know, get 10th or whatever you're supposed to get. I think it's 10 to 1. Get 10th, but he didn't want to do it because like, oh, then I have to pay for another race, and then I have to, then I have to apply for an elite race, and that's going to take a long time. I want to get in the money heat now. It's like, well, I mean, you don't want to run a race, but then you want to go straight to the elites.
Well, and here's the thing: I could easily get him. Like in, right? Like I could use my magic powers, but it's like, what's the point? Because if he doesn't do well, he's going to have a lot of excuses, and it's just we're back at fucking.
Competition will up his game. That's why he's like, I just want to race against the best, which is great. So then prove yourself that you're the best.
Well, and you've had 7 years to do that.
Right. And all of a sudden, the one time that they start bringing out this entry fee, now he's like, you know what? I'm over Spartan. I'm not going to race him anymore. But me and my trail friends, we're totally not going to dominate your sport anymore. Like, okay.
Fine. I could bring 20 people to your sport.
Yeah. And
listen, we're already over an hour, and I'm going to have to jump soon. So I want to get to a couple of the things. Josh, did you listen to the Killian podcast?
I did. Yes.
What were your thoughts?
My thoughts are mostly negative. So I'm just going to preface it with that. So
listen, PR, a lot of PR.
There's a lot of things that Killian said in the podcast that I agree with. My problem is more on a personal level. I think like all year we've had these rule issues and DQ issues and penalty issues, and most of his comments on those issues were always, well, if you just follow the rules, you don't get penalized, right? Well, he said that to Woodsy, right? If you just don't touch the truss, then it's not a problem. The moment he gets penalized at an event, the Stadion event, where he's not locking out properly, he goes on this 7-minute Instagram TV video explaining how he believes rules should be changed, which is, to me, the worst position you could possibly take. Now, had he just brought this up without it, being a result of him being penalized, I would have had a heck of a lot more respect for the situation. I love that he talked about, a new athlete panel. I love that he talked about better standards and better guidelines, a marshaling program. Like all of those things are necessary and all of those things should happen. But the fact that he's only bringing it up now because he was he was subject to a penalty in his last race almost invalidates any argument that he was trying to make. That part really ticks me off. But that being said, there's a lot of good that comes out of it. He sounded like he was a little tired during the podcast, so I didn't know if that's just the way he kind of talks about things. But I'm all about a larger push towards effective standardization and effective marshaling and rule enforcements and all that stuff. But you have to take that position well before something happens. Otherwise, it sort of knocks you down a peg or two when you talk about it.
Right.
What do you think, Ricky?
Well, I'd like to go back for a second. And another ridiculous thing about this conversation was Ryan wants a independent panel of his friends to qualify themselves. They qualify each other. But
what?
That was, yeah. He wanted, he's like, well, other athletes should be able to give codes away. So like, why can't we just create a council so that my buddies can get in too? So like we can totally qualify ourselves.
So he believes he believes Spartan should form a pro athlete panel to review waivers for the elite wave, 0 cost, and if a pro signs off on a new or returning elite, that athlete can race in any elite wave. So he wants a bros club, a gamma club, if you would, a gamma club, alpha club maybe, to approve who races. And we all know how unbiased and unopinionated obstacle course races are, myself included. So they should totally be the governing body over all who race elite.
But going back to Killian though, it does, it's a little salty for him to go back and, like all of a sudden want certain rules to be changed. I mean, what he was doing, like with the box jumps, was like he was really skirting the line of not doing the box jumps properly. I mean, he wasn't doing them properly, but for him to be like, okay, now we need to change. Now we need to really clarify the rules. I mean, like, yeah, why didn't you say that way before? I mean, I'm with Josh on this one. It's like you're only saying that now because you went from 3rd or 2nd to 11th. not that you were really in the running or anything like that. I don't think he was like in the podium overall, but
No, he was third. Yeah, and he.
No, I mean like overall the series.
Oh yeah, for the series, no, he wasn't.
Yeah, so it really shouldn't make a difference for him. Like so, like I mean, he's a world champion in the regular race in the Spartan race, but the stadium. I mean, he wasn't necessarily in the running for the top for the podium for the series. So this was like a
Crap.
So he wants to be the poster boy, which is fine. They're making him into the poster boy, but he wants to be super by the line.
My sort of only issue with in terms of being the poster boy there was him talking about them missing the podium in Greece before he said he had to leave and get on a plane and miss the awards for his own race. That was like, I didn't quite catch that until someone pointed that out to me. And I was like, that's actually a really good point.
Yeah. Don't you get like not disqualified for leaving early?
Well, no, it's just that apparently, Ryan and Woods and Nicole had like done this, horrible thing by not sticking around. And we covered that on a previous call. And then he did it because he chose to get a flight like right after. And you know that awards are like half the time late. So like, you're risking that. So it just seemed a little hypocritical. That was my biggest issue.
Yeah, all of it seemed pretty hypocritical. That's the big takeaway from that. Well, I mean, he wants the rules bent to what he's doing right there and then, but I mean, he's the world champion, so I guess they got to give him some leeway, right?
No.
Well,
it's no different than like, if somebody goes their whole life and they're generally healthy and they don't have like anything they stand for, and then they get diagnosed with like MS or something, and then you see them out there like, we need more funding for MS research. Like, where were you before all that? Like, look at Christopher Reeve, God rest his soul, Superman, right? He went on this tirade about stem cell research and how it should be a thing. He didn't give a shit about that before he was paralyzed. So
I don't think he was going on any tirades. He was pretty.
He was out lobbying for stem cell research. He was
pretty
everywhere.
slow moving, Josh. Oh, he has spinal injury. How could he be on a tear about anything?
Jesus Christ!
I'm being serious.
No, okay.
You're moving really slow.
I'm not talking about speed, Matt. I'm talking about what he was putting his efforts behind. Did you see Christopher Reeve talking at any conferences about stem cell research before he was injured?
Well, it didn't make a difference to him at that point.
Right.
So no one. So this is really a great take, Josh. So no one should find something they care about later in life. They should only from birth be talking about something.
It's not that, Matt. You're blowing it way out of proportion. The point is, right? He's sitting there saying how like detrimental this experience is, but he didn't care about helping out with this process beforehand, right? So if he was so big on like wanting marshals and wanting rules, where was his voice when everybody else was talking about this all year?
So all the women that walk for Susan G. Komen, you're going to tell them, yell at them, like, where were you before your mom got cancer?
Well, that's a cash grab anyways.
Susan G. Komen's got her own problems.
Yeah. I don't think we can say that without you can't say that on this podcast without paying them, right? Or you can't use anything.
You can't say Susan G. Komen?
No, we can say it. We just can't display if we put a little logo up here.
Then they'll reach out to me. I don't need any more fucking lawsuits, guys. Don't.
Yeah. All right, Matt. Let's finish up with the topic I want to talk about today.
Okay.
How'd your half marathon go?
Oh my God. So
Breaking two,
Electric Boogaloo. Some say can't be done.
In 2020.
So my previous 2 half marathons, I essentially did with like no training, right? Just like my own normal long, slow running that I've been doing for however many years. I'm like, well, all I have to do is actually pace myself and I can do it, right? So to get sub 2, if you want to be right on the line, you want to run 9:08 miles, which I ran one in September. This is last year and was like 2:01. And then I ran one last Thanksgiving that I thought for sure I was going to nail because according to my watch, I did. But it turns out I'd run much more than 13 miles. And so I was, 2:00 in some seconds or 2:00, whatever it was. So I hire a coach. I'm working on my training. I have like I'm running like 8.5s without breathing that heavy. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing pretty good. And I'm like, this is going to be fun. Like I'm going to break it and it's going to happen. And I was actually like nervous and excited. You guys hear me talk a lot about, not like I don't run elite age group or open. I just run when I feel like running. Like I don't compete. So here I have this race. I'm excited about it. I want to do really well. And the race comes and, I'm very conscious this time about not just what my watch says, but what the race says. So, my watch hits a mile just as I pass mile 1, and I want to be at 9 minutes. 9 minutes gets me, I think it's 157 and change or 156 and change, whatever it is. So mile 1, mile 2, mile 3 even, I'm like right there. I was a little ahead of it, right? But not much. And I honestly don't know what happened. Like I felt good. I start to get a little bit earlier. Like
mile 8 happened is what happened. Mile 8.
Well, before we get to mile 8, it starts to be like, okay, now my watch beeps and I'm not close to the mile. And I'm like, how the fuck does this happen? Right. And it's all not exact. It's all an inexact science and you're not going to know till the end anyway. Right. Like you're not going to know till you cross the fucking finish line. Mile 8, if I recall, there's like 2 big hills and I think I walked both of them, but I think I'd walked them the year before too. I can't remember. All I know is when I'm barely moving on a run, I just know to walk because I know that I'm going to use less energy and I'm going to make it up on the downhill, right?
Yeah.
It happens all the time, whether it's a 5K or a half or whatever. You fly by people that were passing you on the up, right? So once I hit mile 10, it was like, it's not going to happen. Like it's not going to happen. And I mentally gave up. And it was just, I ran the next 3 miles just like really unhappy and ended up slower than the previous year because I wasn't like last year when I didn't really know what I was doing. I just ran my heart out and like got close. Even though I knew I wasn't going to make it, I still got close. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at the last 2 miles of last year, the last 2 miles of this year, they're much slower. Do you want to ask me other questions before I talk about getting into a fight with a security guard?
My only question is when you were 5 miles in, right? And all of those laps were like sub 9 by a good chunk. You were like 8:43, 8:31, 8:23. Like, were you looking at that point and going, because I know you probably had your tattoo of paces on your arm and everything. Were you like, I could slow it down a little bit here? Like, or were you just, I feel good at this pace, I'm going to continue at this pace?
Yeah, that's the problem is that number one, that's the thing is that my watch didn't say 8:33, right? My watch said, like 8:45 or 8:50 because I wasn't at that spot. You understand? Like the spots, like my watch and the sign doesn't match up. So it didn't feel like I was going that fast, but
Gotcha.
I also learned like, oh, it really matters. Like I didn't think it mattered. I'm like, oh, that's not much faster. Like, and in my mind, I was like, well, I got 3 minute buffer. So even if I slow down a little bit, I'm okay. But that's the wrong way to think. Like you have to run, I ran into my coach at the end and her friend who are both like, fucking 3:15, 3:20 marathoners, like really fast. They're like, yeah, you gotta just sort of force yourself to pace and like not give up. Like you got in your head. They said this line, I can't remember, like don't let your feet trip over your head or something like that. And how like that's why the year before I did so great because I just wasn't thinking and I way overthought it. And things like, I'm going to say this now and you're going to say like, oh, that's so dumb. Don't worry about it. But it fucks with you. Like I kept seeing the pace people, right? Like the two the 2-hour pace people were like right around me. Like there's like 2 or 3 of them in front of me. And I'm like, I'm fine. Like, even though I know that's not fine. Like they're not.
Wait, they had pace people running in the marathon? Do they normally do that? I've never run a marathon.
Yeah. So halves and marathons, there's somebody usually with a sign, and then there's a few other people just with bibs in their back, right? And they're supposed to go the right pace, but they don't always. And so at one point I lost them, right? And then I saw them again, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing fine. And the next thing you know, I saw a 2:15 person. And I'm like, all right, either those people are going too slow, those people are going too fast. All that just got in my head, and you've got to just tune all that out. That's what I'm learning. It's just, you just tune all that out and trust your fucking pacing and look at your fucking watch and be on the pace you need to be.
You'll get them next time, Tiger.
So I finish, and it finishes inside a stadium, right? The race starts outside of, this is what used to be Turner Field of the Braves play. Now it's Georgia State Stadium. You start outside of it and you finish inside, and you go through the finish, and they give you like a water, but you don't get your medals and bananas and all that until you go up on a thing, right? So there's like the flow kind of comes through. Now I usually just collapse completely at the end, but in this case I wasn't dead because I was mad, and I didn't, like I said, I had given up mentally at like mile 10, 11. So see if I can visually draw this for you. I don't know how this is going to work, audio listeners, but here's the chute. So here's the chute, right? Here's
Matt has drawn 2 lines parallel to each other.
Here's where the sun's bad. God damn it. Can you see that? Hang on a second.
Closing the blinds.
And it hadn't helped at all.
It did not help at all.
Okay.
Wrong side.
So here's the finish, right? Like the actual tape is right here, right? The actual step over the right, and then they hand you like a water here, and the flow kind of goes out. And then by the time you get to like here, it's like, okay, now the line starts to go up, whatever. So I'm probably here, like pretty close to the end here, where the flow is like, no one is fucking near me, and I'm sitting down like this, like dejected, mad, catching my breath. And this guy comes over to me, he's like, can you move, please? And I just kind of look up like this, because I kind of like, are you serious? Like, I'm not quite functioning. And I just was like, kind of gave him like one of those. And he's like, there's thousands of people come through, you need to get out of the way. And I'm like, okay, boss. And so then I moved like a few feet over, like I scooted my body back over, right? And again, like, here's people, right? Here's people, like, yes, they're kind of near me, but I'm not impeding anybody's fucking way, right? This guy comes back. He's got another guy with him, and he's literally like in my face like this, like spit comes flying out, and he's like, I'm losing my patience with you.
Oh my God.
You need to move, sir. And this just fucking set me off, right? And I stand up and I go, what do you think fucking happens after someone runs 13 miles? I'm exhausted. I'm not in the way. And he's like, do you want to leave here? We can talk outside the stadium. And it's like,
oh yeah, big guy, let's do it.
And it's like, he's not threatening to beat me up. He's basically saying like, I'm going to kick you out. But unlike getting kicked out of like, say, a sporting event, like it's over anyway. So walking me out isn't doing anything.
Right.
Now I'm processing what's happening, right? I'm like, is he a police officer? Is anyone a police officer? Like, all this is going in my mind while we're screaming at each other because I don't want to go to jail. And the other guy is also just a security guard. And I think he maybe worked for the stadium and this guy worked for the track club maybe. I don't know. But we're basically screaming at each other where he's like, and I'm like, what's your name? Do you have any idea what people are doing here? I'm fucking tired. And then this other guy gets in my way. It was amazing. This other guy is like the savior of Thanksgiving. He's like, he pulls me out and he's like, he's not worth it. Fuck him. You just ran 13 miles. He's a piece of shit. He doesn't fucking know. Like he's like, you're a hero, man.
Oh God, a hero.
So right then, right then, like as all that kind of breaks down, like the other security guard sort of pulled him away. This nice gentleman pulls me away, and I see my coach, and she kind of like, she's just like, "Hey, Matt," like she hadn't seen the thing, and she's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, I start shaking my head that I didn't make it, and then I start crying. And I realize that's what I'm really mad about. I'm really mad at myself for not fucking making it, and that's what caused like this guy just like fucking with me at the wrong moment. And
well, obviously, you're like, this isn't about you, man. This is about me.
and she's like, we're talking about it, and we're looking at my splits, and she's like, it's okay. It's all part of it. Like, you're learning. Like, you just got to get better at pacing. And like, her friend comes over, and like, they've like run Boston together. And they're like, look, be mad. We're not saying don't be mad. Like, people in your life will say, don't be mad. You almost got it. You can certainly be pissed. But we'll work on it. We'll learn or whatever. And so that was pretty much it. And I was still mad for a couple of days. Like, I was still mad.
That's fine. You can be mad. You should be mad. Otherwise, if you don't feel something from it, then why'd you even do it?
Right. And, I'm just really new at it. I just don't know how to quite do it yet. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't. Clearly, something as simple as running on pace, like, takes to get used to, I guess. I'm just used to really running really hard and then being out of breath. That's all I know how to do.
And this is why Matt will never get his elite qualification code fee waived.
Did you just want to bring it back to that? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I just wanted to circle it back because that's what you do when you're, a comic. You know this, right? You spend the whole time talking and you cycle it back.
Well, what time did you end up getting? 2:01?
No, it was like 2:03. It was like I said, it was like not even close.
So
it was 2:04.
2:04. And the previous year I'd run like now again, if you look at, what my watch says, right? Like I ran 13.75 miles. So like, that's a lot farther than 13.1. But that's the other thing that I'm still bad at.
Well, you're still faster than me, my friend. My half marathon time was 2:12. So that makes you feel better.
I really don't want to wait till next Thanksgiving. I might have to find something sooner. It's a long time.
Come down and do the Disney half marathon.
Yeah, the Disney Princess half marathon's in February. Knock yourself out.
How much is it?
$350.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Like people do that not even to race. They like stop and take pictures with the characters.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's dumb money.
All right, Ricky. Well, thanks for coming on, dude.
Well, thanks for having me. This was quite an experience. I've never been on a podcast, but this was really
Well, you
fun.
can't say that anymore.
Did we get you in trouble? Did we get you in trouble with your wife?
No, she was actually worried that she got me in trouble because she came in with the kids and was like trying not to make noise. That's why you saw her in the back.
She doesn't realize this is not a professional podcast.
Meanwhile, both of you walked off stage at one point.
Yeah. Well, my laptop was at 3%, so.
Oh. Well, see, that makes more sense. I don't even know why Matt walked off.
Coffee.
All right. Well,
it was fun. It was fun. Thanks a lot.
Do you have anything to promote, Ricky?
You can catch these hands at the Central Florida Beast this weekend if you want to.
Oh, who's racing this weekend, Josh?
I'll be there.
Oh my God!
A couple of Discord guys are going to be there.
Yeah.
Last race of the year, and then
Scotty the Fane Knowles will be there. A handful of us will be there. You're on the outs, Matt. Sorry.
So I'll be there.
Which city is this in?
Lakeland, Florida. Nope, Mulberry, Florida.
Yeah, Mulberry.
Wait a minute.
Lakeland is where I'm staying.
Did they do the Warrior Dash there? I think I've been there.
Probably.
I think they did a mutter there earlier this year.
But have they also done a Warrior Dash there?
I've never done Warrior Dash.
What time are you running, Ricky?
I race the age group, so I'm probably going at 8:30, 8.
What age are you in?
30 to 34, 35.
Yeah, you
I've
probably
already qualified elite, by the way. I got 8th in Palm Beach earlier this year. So
Nice.
I just want to point out that I haven't applied because I don't want to pay that $30 fee. I'm going to try and get it waived. But I believe I do qualify elite.
All right, Josh. Josh, let us know if you can get some podium picks while you're down there.
Oh, God. Fine. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to tell you in advance. The second we finish, we're leaving to go to Universal. Sorry. Ricky, if you're hanging around, get Matt some podium picks.
I'll try. Yeah, since I'll do it. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
hang around. I'll get what is it like right after, right? Like 20 minutes after the race is done?
That's cute. And if you're going to get elite podium picks, you got to get center. You got to get their attention. Make sure they're looking at your camera. Tell them to ignore the Spartan photographer and only look at your phone.
Or I am over here.
Yeah. Guys, for School Racing Media, right here.
Exactly.
I'm going to yell that one time and see how that goes.
All right. Have a good day, gents.
All right, guys. Later.